So let us now hear the statement of the officer in charge of the Philippine National Police.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Thank you for coming to the first edition of our regular weekly press briefing for the year 2020, and happy Three Kings.
Happy Three Kings, sir.
I'm glad to note that the PNP declaration of suspension of offensive police operations in support of the government's declaration of a unilateral ceasefire with the CPP, NPA, NDF has been effectively implemented by all PNP units throughout the country. Despite early incidents of NPA-initiated truce violations in December 23 when the SOCO took effect. Our field units continue to maintain defensive vigilance posture against threats to internal security for the entire duration of the SOCO. Tomorrow, I will convene a command conference among members of the command group, territorial staff, regional directors, and directors of national support units to discuss the strategic policy directions of the Philippine National Police for the year 2020. This will set into motion the flagship campaigns of the PNP against crime, illegal drugs, terrorism, and corruption for the next 12 months and beyond. Foremost among these is the intensification of the intelligence-driven anti-illegal drugs campaign, particularly against upper and middle-level high-value targets engaged in trafficking of commercial quantity of illegal drugs, 50 grams or more. Of equal priority in the operational trusts for 2020 is the campaign against the few rogues in uniform who continue to resist change and reform. Similar intelligence-driven operations will address issues of involvement of PNP personnel in criminal activity, graft, and corrupt practices, with equal attention to the culpability of immediate superior officers who will fail to take action and supervise their men. PNP modernization and procurement of more vision-essential equipment for mobility, firepower, communication, and investigation will be the hallmark of PNP administrative trusts for the year, with greater emphasis on the PNP's best practices in transparency and public accountability in all procurement transactions. The almost 100% absorptive capacity of the PNP in terms of utilizing government appropriations for capital outlay will remain to be the standard. For the year 2020, we will see the PNP literally soaring to greater heights with a fleet of 10 rotary wing aircraft that will provide tactical support to ground operations of PNP units. At present, we have 7 operational helicopters currently in service of the PNP Staff Air Unit. 3 more helicopters are due for delivery and acceptance before mid-year of this year, including this would include 3 H125 Airbus helicopters. On top of the administrative management initiatives for the year is the continued development of the PNP's greatest resource, which is our manpower. For the year, we will welcome 17,000 more personnel into our ranks through our annual recruitment. May nagsabotahe. Through our annual recruitment program, of which we will be taking oath, 1 batch for first semester and another for the second semester, approximately April 16 and September 16 of this year. During the week, the PNP through the NCRPO will take center stage in implementing a metro-wide law enforcement and public safety operations employing the major event security template for the Feast of the Black Nazarene on January 9. Although we do not expect any serious security issue in this event, we will exercise utmost prudence and readiness in anticipation of perennial public safety scenarios associated with the annual event. Some adjustments will be implemented this year, including the procession route and some security protocols. We appeal to the devotees and the public for their continued cooperation with authorities and organizers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And we're the OIC. And first question. Sinong una?
First question of the year.
Kuya Raymond.
Sir, good morning. Happy New Year po. Doon sa pinatawag ni Presidente na meeting among the high-ranking officers of the PNP and the AFP, ano po ang bilin sa inyo ng Pangulo considering na the situation in the Middle East is being monitored by not only by the palace but among the security officials?
The primary concern of the President is the welfare of our countrymen. But of course, there's a plan that will be carried out by the armed forces, of which you can ask them on the details if they desire to divulge the same. But basically, nakikita natin kasi merong 1,000 populace both in Iran and Iraq, I think was the concern last night. And then ito yung sabi ni Presidente that we are obliged to take care of our countrymen. And the rest of the tasking was given to the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The Chief of Staff, the Secretary of National Defense, and the major service commanders were there. Navy, Air Force, and Army. And of course, me in the PNP. That's how much I can go on that meeting.
Sir, with what happened doon sa Middle East, wala ba kayong nakikitang local implication? Especially security adjustment.
Well, there are also security concerns, no? Kasi siyempre merong sympathetic either by race or by ideology. No? So the PNP is profiling possible threats, possible groups who may take advantage or who might sympathize. So our intelligence monitoring will be continuous up until medyo luminaw na yung problema doon sa Middle East.
Yung event sa January 9 is the Feast of the Black Nazarene. Meron ba tayong security adjustment doon that may be related of what's going on sa Middle East?
So far, there is no direct threat, no? Or there's no direct implication that it is so. But nevertheless, we are continuing our intelligence monitoring, and if there is such a requirement, then the PNP will adjust accordingly.
Thank you.
So next question for the year. Third. Yes.
Sir, ilan yung tinutukoy yung middle to high value targets natin ng project?
Ito kasi, pinapasubmit namin yung regional offices, no? But initially, pinasubmit ko sila ng top 10. But it can go at least to top 20 or even more, no? Kaya ako nagpapasubmit ng top 10 so that we're able to determine in terms of priority. Kasi ang una nating gusto ma-identify at ma-neutralize, no? Ma-neutralize, ibig sabihin na ma-applyan natin ng search warrant or mahuli natin sa bypass. Then, ito yung mga priority ng different regions. Of course, meron din kaming priority sa national. There's a continuing appreciation on the drug problem at the regional level and down. So si region, merong priority, si province, merong priority, si city and municipality may priority, so that each of the different units in the PNP would have their own respective priorities in terms of high-value targets.
Pero sir, yung national, ilan po yun?
Ilan? Marami. No? Ganun na lang sabihin ko sa inyo, marami pa sila, marami. No, marami. Hindi kasi ang pagdating sa national, ito na yung level actually na from importation, they're going to receive it. No? And then, yung downline nila, probably yung first, second downline, yun yung kinukonsider namin na national. No? But the rest can be dealt with by the regions and the provinces.
Sir, ito ba yung sinasabi na nag-shift na kayo from demand reduction to supply reduction na kayo ngayon?
Hindi, tuloy pa din naman, no? Because hindi pwedeng mag-emphasize ka lang sa supply, iwanan mo yung demand. Dalawa pa rin, no? Because merong misinterpretation na parang iiwanan na namin yung street level, no? Continuing pa rin yun, but ang sinabi ko sa mga regional directors, no? Even PDEG, I told PDEG na huwag na kayong sumusaw doon sa trabaho ng mga munisipyo at mga syudad. Dito kayo sa taas. So yun yung delineation. So we still expect our lower units, lalo na yung mga drug enforcement units sa baba, to still implement and reduce demand, no? By going after the small value targets.
Thank you, third, Eunice. Then, Anne.
General, good morning. Last Thursday po, nung unang PRESSCON niyo po nung last Thursday, may nabanggit po kayo na mayroon po kayong i-announce ngayon regarding sa security operation for 2020. Ano po iyon? At saka aside from na mag-open kayo for 17,000 personnel, ano po yung pasa 2020 na security operation?
Marami tayong gagawin, no? Of course, yung relentless pa rin yung campaign natin against illegal drugs. And then, I think, dapat pa natin i-emphasize, although hindi namin primary mandate, no, in support to the AFP, the active participation of the PNP in ending insurgency in the Philippines. No? Because we are a regular member of the National Task Force, ito yung bibigyan namin ng trabaho yung aming mobile forces. Kasi, ako honestly, sabi ko, parang kulang pa yung contribution natin dito sa effort na yan. So we will be actively participating and probably we will request from the armed forces or even from the National Task Force a more active role of the PNP in this ending the insurgency. And then administrative, marami tayong plano, no? Of course, nandyan yung body camera, nandyan na yung funds appropriated for our ICT roadmap in the amount of 1.098 billion. This will not only entail enhancement of digital highways for the PNP in intelligence, but including human resource and other programs or existing programs, systems that can be integrated to that ICT roadmap. So, and then, isa pa is yung recruitment nga, no? Because yung recruitment natin usually happens at the end of the year. But this year, sabi ko, hatiin natin into two batches. We will target na yung first batch will take oath on April 16, and then another batch will take oath on October 16. No, so hindi na namin naantayin. Kasi ang napansin kasi namin, siguro dahil malaki na yung sweldo ng pulis, marami din actually ng optional retirement. No? Dapat yung rate natin na almost 3,000 to 4,000 for the whole year has been eaten up by the first quarter only of last year. So ganun kabilis yung nag-optional retire. Sabi ko, if we still wait at the end of the year to replenish them, kasi yung 10,000 are new recruits, no? Based on the increasing population. But the 7,000 is an attrition quota. Yung attrition, yun yung mga nagre-retire compulsorily at optionally. Pero yung itong optional, kasi dati, inaantay pa natin matapos ang taon bago tayo magpa-take out. As a matter of fact, yung attrition quota last year will take out January 30 of this year, around 4,000. Pero kung na-recruit natin yun mid of last year, na-replenish na sana yun. So ang intervention ng PNP ngayon is to target na magkaroon ng take out ng around kalahati ng 17,000. So that's around 6,500 to 7,000 for April 16, and then another 7,000 for October 16. By this way, nalalapit natin yung police to population ratio.
Sir, yun nga po, magdadagdag po kayo ng 17,000 na personnel. How about yung budget? Kasi tapos na po yung ng budget for this year. Paano po yung budget nyo? Hindi ho ba maapektuhan ang budget ng PNP?
Hindi, kasi
another 17,000.
when we prepare our budget for 2020, it actually starts January of 2019. Nagsisimula, actually, meron iba, 18 pa eh. And all of these things can be forecasted, like yung 10,000 that has been customary in the PNP na every year, dagdag kayo ng dagdag ng 10,000. Dahil ang basis kasi nito is the increase in population. So hindi naman, ever since hindi naman talaga, hindi mag-increase, di ba? Kasi maraming nanganganak talaga. At ito yung attrition quota, nakikita namin to. So yung forecast namin dyan, that's around 6,000 to 7,000 each year. So pagsampa namin ng proposed budget namin, which usually happens starting sa technical defense at DBM, I think, March or April last year, naka-integrate na to lahat. So that pagdating ng 2020, naka-budget na lahat yan. Including even firearms. No? Kaya meron din tayong 10,000 firearms each year. Papunta ito doon sa bagong 10,000 na police. That's how we do the budget planning in the entire government, actually.
Sir, lumundag po tayo. January 25 is nasa paano anniversary. Yung mga staff, very, very significant po kasi sa PNP. Ano naman po yung gagawin natin pag-ulitan sa mga masapa?
Ang celebration actually may presidential proclamation yan, no? Or declaration to, anong tawag doon, yung there's a specific issuance by the president on that to celebrate, no? Hindi to celebrate dahil namatay tayo, but to celebrate the spirit, no, of how our soldiers fought for the republic. Yeah, for their heroism also, to recognize them. But this is essentially being prepared by the Special Action Force themselves. At iniimbita lang kami dito sa national headquarters.
Anne?
Sir, General, good morning. Sir, tanong ko lang dun sa US-Iran crisis, sir. Yung PNP, sir, ba, may instruction din kayo to specifically monitor yung sitwasyon doon sa Middle East, sir?
Yes, actually, ang in-encourage nga kami ni Presidente, sabi niya, you watch CNN so that you are updated on what's going on there. Ang task lang naman ng PNP is local.
Okay.
Ang tasking namin dito is bantayan namin, yun nga, for any retaliatory action on other sectors of society who might be sympathetic to them. Pero as of yet, wala naman tayong gano'n na threat dito sa Pilipinas.
Sir, nakahanda din ang PNP tumulong sa AFP sakali kakailanganin yung pwersa niya.
Yes, being part of the ARC component of the government, kasi kami sa PNP, meron din actually kaming pinapadala on United Nations na mga security forces. We also send, no, but only on a very limited scale. Ang probably isang maitulong namin, which we do in the United Nations, are our doctors and nurses. We are allowed also to do that. As a matter of fact, merong mga nakadeploy sa UN who are in charge of yung sa mga medical, pati mga engineers. No, we also
So
technical services.
Naipaalam na rin sa kanila, sir, sakaling kakailanganin yung kanilang serbisyo.
Yes, pero ano lang naman, probably last choice ang PNP, no?
Okay.
But primarily it is an Armed Forces of the Philippines engagement.
Sir, pangalawa, sir, si Secretary Anyo ngayon ang namamahala sa PNP. Sir, any marching order? May marching order na po ba siya sa inyo ngayon?
Actually, kanina, sabi ko nga, sir, hingin ko yung speech mo. Kasi doon sa speech niyo mismo, nilatag niya yung kanyang guidance, which we will be taking up, it will be taken up during the command conference tomorrow. Very specific, no? Ang isang sinasabi niya sa akin, even before we discuss matters last week, sabi niya, let us make each policeman worth. And let every policeman be convinced that he is actually a messenger of what the PNP should be. So, nandun na lahat yung tamang asal, basic good manners and right conduct, tamang bihis, medyo compliance sa body mass index, no, which we are implementing. Ito pa pala, no, actually, pipirmahan ko na yung yung BMI na pag may BMI, hindi ka compliant sa BMI, you will be denied schooling. No? Na up until you comply to the BMI requirements, that's the only time that you can go on schooling. At masakit ito, no, because there are schooling that are required for certain positions and there are schooling that are required for certain promotions. So if you are deprived of that at least one semester, at pag hindi ka nakakomply baka isang taon, malaking epekto yun sa karir mo. And this will all go through all the ranks in the PNP, from patrolman up to the generals.
Yung ideal body yung sinasabi niyo sir na ano po yung
Okay,
ideal?
kung ako, titingnan nyo, 55 years old, 5'6" and a half in height, ang dapat na ideal weight ko sa standard namin is 172 pounds. So as of kaninang umaga, excess pa ako ng 4 pounds because of the Yuletide season. Pero by Friday, I will comply with my 172. That's how I want all policemen should be conscious about their weight. Kasi this is not all about yung image ng PNP, na dapat walang mga tiyan, but this is more on individual responsibility. Kasi ang ini-implant namin dito is yung health mo, na mabuhay ka na matagal. Kasi marami na tayong, iba marami ng klaseng sakit na meron tayo. At pag hindi mo pa maintain yung, yung katawan mo, baka hindi mo mabuti yung retirement mo. At least ako, 8 buwan na lang, siguro ako makapag-retire ng buhay. And it's very important, no? That's why we want all policemen to internalize this, na itong BMI requirement na.
Sir, kasama dito sir, yung mga generals na may mga...
From OIC down, at alam ko na sinong tinutukoy nyo, meron siyang particular target. Don't worry. Last week ko pa siya ni-remind at nagsimula na siyang bumili ng yogurt. And you will see for yourself. For yourself.
Yes, sir. Sir, sorry.
Pero dapat sabayan nyo rin kami.
Sabay, sir. Yes, sir. Sama ko. Sir, ano din asahan ng publiko sa PNP, sir, lalo na sa war on drugs? Would it be, sabi nga dati, bloody, sir? Pero sa inyo, sir, marami tayong inaasahan neutralization. Ano ang pagkakaiba nito, sir, on the previous campaign ng war on drugs?
I don't want to compare, no? Kasi during talaga sa initial stage, it was parang it is a necessity. No? Sa tingin ko rin, talagang kailangan to pound on something, to emphasize on something. But ngayon kasi, even the President has a directive, yung sa high-value targets, which you cannot actually neutralize pag hindi siya evidence-based. So it will all be evidence-based. There are even questions on probable custody ng mga drugs, recycling, etc. All of these things will be addressed for the year 2020.
Thank you, General.
And the use of body camera to introduce transparency during this has been demanded by the public, no? So it's coming to the PNP around April or May of this year. And we will use it not only on drug operations, but in other operations, including checkpoints, no? Kasi may mga allegations din na may mga abuses sa checkpoint, para ito rin yung panangga namin, no? To defend ourselves. Kasi pwede siya i-convert from body camera to dashboard cameras.
Okay. Thank you, Ann George of CNN, Philippines.
Sir, morning.
Morning.
Sir, how can we ensure, sir, that the quality of recruits will be satisfying? It is not just individuals who want a bigger salary because of, mataas na entry level, sir, sa PNP, but more of policemen who really want to serve.
Alam nyo, customarily, meron talaga tayong neuropsychiatric test, there's a background investigation, and we will still do that. No? But one of the more and the better ways of doing recruitment is lesser intervention on the part of the screening committees. How is this done? Yung ginawa ng NCRPO dati, na-coded sila lahat. na malalaman mo lang based on the results but not even the names of individuals. And then, we can always emphasize during interviews kasi meron talagang formal interview din, no? Na how to do the questioning so that you're able to determine the real sense of why one person would become a policeman. Now, in the recent study that we conducted, no, human resource study conducted by the PNP, alam nyo that in the 478 respondents of the 27,000 NCRPO study, merong mga criminology schools na find out namin na halos lahat ng mga produkto nila may problema. So probably ang isang tinitingnan namin, although hindi pa completed yung study, no, once we have the complete result, we really want to intervene on the preparation of these would-be policemen at the college level. So pag nakita namin na yung mga graduates nyo are not performing well in the PNP service, no? Because according to that study, we have a very rich data. Hindi lang na-utilize, no? Kaya nga, nag-commission ako ng separate entity for human resource study. At ito yung mga lumalabas, no? There will be a lot of things that's going to come out in the study that's going to help the PNP come up with improved and better human resource policies.
Sir, when you say problematic yung mga criminology schools, what kind of problems are we talking about, sir?
Generally kasi, parang ang tabulation noon, yung may mga kaso sa PNP. So various, from very simple tardiness or absenteeism, down to involvement in criminal activities, including family problems. No? Ito yung mga tinali na yung mga schools na na-identify is doon galing halos lahat yung mga pulis. So probably, balikan namin yung college. What are you doing? No? Ito yung naging problema sa PNP. Dapat i-adjust nyo yung curriculum nyo or even your program of training so that it can address the problems that has actually occurred when they are already in the service. Ganun naman, pero hindi ko naman sinasabi na masama yung school na yun. Probably hindi lang nila nakita itong angle na to. And we are here to provide them the results kung ano yung behavior ng mga tao nyo nung pumunta na sila sa kapulisan. But of course, marami pa rin determinants pagdating sa serbisyo. Sino ang nakasama mo? Ano ang naging unit assignment mo? Sino ang naging leader mo? No, hindi naman necessarily na maboil na sabihin natin fault talaga ng school. That's why we're waiting for the study para extensive yung discussion namin doon sa mga probable sources of policemen entering the PNP.
Sir, kailan natin pwedeng makita yung matapos yung pag-aaral mo?
Ang promise sa akin within January.
January.
So probably kung within January may ilabas nila, by February we will be able to come out with policies already.
Otherwise, sir, parang nakikita niyo ba yung possibility, sir, of, if the graduates of this particular school are really, producing problematic students or policemen, so posibleng hindi tayo kukuha ng police sa kanila or applicants?
Huwag naman, no? Kasi masisira naman yung negosyo nila. No? But i-advisean mo na natin. At sinasabi ko nga, yung source is one thing. No? As to how they were exposed in the service, the kind of administrative lapses that they have incurred in the service is another thing. Diba? Parang, siguro titignan natin kung, kasi marami yun maraming schools. So titignan din natin yung, bakit itong school na to, wala namang napila ng kaso sa kanilang mga graduates who enter the PNP. And ito lang naman kasi ang presentation sa amin medyo medyo general pa lang. But once we have the details of that, then we will inform you accordingly.
Alright, sir. Thank you. Sir, i-follow up ko lang, sir, yung question namin last time. Muli tayo tungkol sa martial law arrest order, sir. Na-clarify na ba, sir?
Yung ano?
Yung martial law arrest order, sir. Yung, di ba, ang nabanggit na po, wala tayong magiging problema kung may existing na warrant of arrest. How about yung nasa list ng mga nasa arrest?
It does not subsist anymore.
Wala na, sir. Alright, sige sir. Ay, sir, yung palang may mga nagreklamo daw kasi sa Marawi because apparently, even though lifted na yung martial law, they may existing na lockdown. So, ibig sabihin, if at siguro pagdating ng 10 o'clock in the evening, wala nang pwedeng pumasok at lumabas ng city. Although they can roam around the city, pero yung papasok at lalabas ng syudad, hindi daw po pinapayagan. I'm just...
Well, when you lift martial law, you're only lifting actually the suspension of the writ. Other than that, other security measures can still be implemented.
Okay.
So I don't see anything wrong kung merong lockdown, especially if the security forces locally require it. So I don't think any problem pag mag-impose sila ng lockdown doon mismo sa Marawi.
Sir, yan, based yan sa assessment sa ground. Parang ganun. If it deems necessary for you to create or put checkpoints or carry out lockdowns, depende sa...
Yes. As a matter of fact, there are LGUs in Mindanao who are requesting for still the suspension of permit to carry, which is now being evaluated by the Philippine National Police. Kasi yung ibang, depende kasi talaga kung sa local government unit kung ano yung diskarte nila. No? And we respect that kasi sila yung nandun eh. And hindi naman nila i-recommend ito kung hindi nila ito ni-refer sa local PNP or local AFP. Local, ibig sabihin yung units assigned in that area.
Sir, since nabanggit na yung permit to carry, na-cancel na po ba sir yung pagdadala ng baril ngayong traslasyon sir?
Wala akong alam na merong suspension for the translasyon.
Okay.
Ang alam ko na pinaka-recent was yung SEA Games.
Okay.
Other than that, I did not see any request for a suspension of PTC in Metro Manila or in Manila.
What do you think it's necessary, sir?
It's up for the recommendation of NCRPO and probably the Manila Police District.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Manny, Juan, and next, Catherine. Last two, sir.
Sir, aside from Metro Manila, ano pang mga regions yung may challenges when it comes to illegal drugs? Saka ano yung dahilan basically?
Maraming illegal drugs.
Anong regions yung may mga challenges pa pagdating sa illegal drugs? And ano yung basically mga reason?
Kung makita natin, no, even on reports, marami pa rin sa Region 7. As a matter of fact, yung Region 7 na apprehension, malakihan. And autonomous region ng Region 9. Ito yung mga possible sources ng mga... Kasi meron ibang sources din na nanggagaling din sa Mindanao. So, practically, nandyan pa rin siya almost in all regions. No? Pero ito yung mga binabantayan natin. Region 9, Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, and then Region 7. Region 6, meron pa rin.
Okay.
Bakit kaya sir, dun particularly matindi pa rin yung challenges?
Multifaceted. Economics, probably, yung hirap siguro ng buhay talaga.
Yung Metro Manila sir, okay naman so far or medyo manageable na ba? Or hindi pa?
Hindi pa okay kasi hindi pa sila naubos.
Thank you.
Ubusin muna natin.
Thank you, Manny. Catherine.
Sir, good morning. Sir, sabi niyo po, you will request a more active role for the PNP sa anti-insurgency campaign. How extensive, sir, yung more active role na gusto niyo po i-request?
Nagpa-participate naman yung ating mobile force, no? But ang primarily na we admit, no, is yung education muna ng mga tropa namin on the enemy. Kasi matagal na rin kaming hindi sumama sa campaign on the CTGs, no? Kasi nga support role lang kami sa AFP. And then exchange of notes with the AFP. And itong challenge actually ng sinasabi ko, itong sa legal fronts, no? Legal fronts nila. So kung meron silang mga organization in the students, the labor, and the industries, then probably dyan yung i-address squarely ng PNP. But we haven't discussed the details of that yet.
Okay. Thank you, Catherine. Last question, Sir Alfred.
Ikaw lang nasa kanan ah.
Ano yung sabi mo dun sa strategic policy sa anti-drugs conspiracy? You want more intelligence-driven campaign versus yung 50 grams and up. Ang nangyayari kasi sa maraming mga operation na 0.008, 0.06 gram, 1 gram.
Hindi, ito yung distinction ng street level. Kasi yung isang, nagbibiruan nga kami kung anong tawag ng isang batak. Yung isang batak is actually 0.02 to 0.03. No? So kung meron kang isang gramo, parang 100 yun, no? 100 na batak. Now, bakit gusto ko ng 50? Ito naman 50, ambisyon ito, no? Because yung average namin na recovery for any operation at an average is around 15 grams. So we're setting a very high target. Kasi pag high target, ibig sabihin, mas matindi ang plano. No? At hindi siya basta-bastang binabypass or ina-applyan ng search warrant. No? Kasi meron kang test buy nga, and you really develop information. So hindi siya ganun kadali. Now, pag well-prepared at well-planned kasi, the possibility of conviction is also high. At hindi lang tayo doon sa actual operations na mangyari, we're even counting on convictions. No? Para talaga makita natin na yung implementation is evidence-based and in accordance with the law.
Last na lang, sir. Yung dun sa, yung giving premium dun sa command responsibility ng mga lower unit commanders dun sa campaign against drugs.
Campaign against?
Rogues in uniform, sir.
Rogues in uniform. Oh, hindi kasi ano pag ikaw kasi ang unit commander, dapat kilala mo lahat ng tao mo. Yun yung very basic in any uniform service. Kasi pag hindi mo kilala yung mga tao mo, you might not even know how to manage them. That's why, kung meron kang tao na involved at ikaw mismo na commander, wala ka man lang ginawa, then you are equally responsible. And you should be replaced. Because there are other policemen or police leaders who can actually change, who can actually take your place and implement the directives coming from the higher quarters.
So, sir, automatic na pag may nahuling...
Actually, meron na tayong standing policy na pag may nahulihan sa'yo at hindi mo man lang alam or wala kang effort na ginawa nun, hindi mo man lang siyang, kunwari, merong isang rogue police, hindi mo man lang sinabit ang pangalan dahil identified siya na probably engaged siya sa illegal activities. Kung wala ka man ng knowledge sa ganun at nahulihan ka pa, then you are equally responsible also.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Sir, that would be enough for this morning. Thank you very much, sir,
Thank
for your
you. Happy
presence.
Three Kings.
Yes, sir. Thank you.